It set the poker world buzzing. It's attracted some of the biggest players in town. It's quite simply the Party Poker Big Game. "24 hours have come and gone since the first cards were dealt, and it's been a roller coaster ride here at the Big Game. Evictions have taken their toll, and sleep deprivation and dwindling stacks have claimed their victims. But so far, 2 men have survived.
There are plenty of challenges in the Big Game. Battling your fellow pros, surviving the evictions, and resisting the lure of that ticking clock. Plenty have come and gone, just 2 have stood the test of time. Roberto Romanello well and truly hammered at this table and out of the door. Robert Williamson III is back. Having suffered an eviction, he's out to prove a point, and so far, so good. Ellis Reuben took the place of a battered Oscar Pardo and has steadily built up his stack. Dixie Dean up and down at this table, and now out the door deciding enough was enough. But there's no doubting the man to watch is Viffer. He's been up, he's been down in several other places, but he's always involved and has yet to face a vote. The most aggressive, always safe from eviction. Tony G brought this table to life, but paid a heavy price to start with. He's turned things around, things now looking good for Tony G. Neil Channing joins Viffer as the only other man to have stood the test of time. Phil Laak waited for his chance to join the action, and he's still really waiting for the big break. Ellis Reuben, the most successful player around this table, with a profit close to 30K. Channing not far behind, Viffer in profit, but could go either way. Williamson III picking up where he left off, Tony G now good, Phil Laak waiting for his break, and Roberto Romanello's out after losing 20K.
The next player to join the table qualified here in the Red Room last night. It's Steele.
Steele steps into the Big Game for it's been a difficult road to this seat. He came through a furiously competitive qualifying round. Steele has had to endure the pressure of coming through those qualifiers. So although a fresh face as he enters the main game, he knows what to expect.
You know, if I get some decent hands, I'm not scared of putting my chips in. So I play quite big games in cash in the Vic, you know, the biggest one there I play at. So I sit down with Neil Channing all the time, Bambus and what have you. So it's not, you know, I do know some of the better players.
Big smile from Steele as he joins the table. Now it's only £5,000 he's sitting down with, but who's to say where this man can go? You could hear those howls and it can only mean one thing.
Parachuting into the 1 seat, it's British pro and Triple Crown winner, Roland de Wolfe.
Roland de Wolfe has been there and done it when it comes to the big events in poker. He's been here before, featuring in previous big games.
Well, I think a cash game has less luck than tournaments. I mean, in tournaments when the blinds are high, there's less skill. You're more told to go with what you have, and in cash games there's more room for manoeuvre. It probably helps more of a skillful player, and obviously with my assessment of my own abilities, I think I'm pretty good at poker, so try and get as much money as I can.
You can't keep a good man down. You can't keep Roland away from the action. Here's a guy, he's been the life and soul of this Poker Den cash game for nigh on since the beginning. He's been prowling around like a wolf, waiting for a good spot. Now that the action's big, the money's on the table, the Wolf is swooping in with the top buy-in.
How much does everyone have? What do you have, Tony?
You know, since the last big game last year, Roland picked up his first World Series of Poker bracelet out in Las Vegas. Kind of a man in form.
You have 80? You have 50?
He seems to be making a lot of noise lately.
50,
Oh,
50,
he'll just
50.
never stop. He was sort of the guy last year's Poker Den. You know, they were playing the 25-50, and
Can anyone, like, give me more chips?
they had the 100 straddle, the 200, the 400. He got the 800 going with regularity. And see, well, we're already into a hand here. And
Yeah, we could see some heavy action here.
Show me another minute.
We'll have to see how Tony G decides to play it.
well, Tony's led at this, so
You're talking language I don't know.
Williamson, I mean, you're happy to
show
get
some
this
heart.
in against basically anything.
Yeah, there's really no hand that you're too upset about. You're going to have some pretty decent equity no matter what, but at the same time, you don't necessarily have to build a big pot right away.
And so why do you think he's decided to just call? Is it
I think because his hand has showdown value currently. I mean, he has a pair. So at this point, he doesn't need to necessarily turn his hand to a semi-bluff.
Oh, buddy. I'm trying to give up.
and well, great card for Williamson III. Little does he know how much he didn't want to see the diamond.
1,000.
So this is a protective little bet here. He's not sure if he's ahead or behind. But he knows Tony can't really rep anything by raising, so he could actually induce like a raise and snap one off.
Maybe that's what he was thinking.
I mean, it'd be very thin for Tony to take a hand like King 9 and raise that river. I'm pretty sure he'd just toss in a call.
Robert Williamson III back at the table and back to taking the cash in the big game 4. Coming up to the 30-hour mark in this game, Tony G not at the table at the moment, but lurking in the background. Plenty happening in this 40-hour cash game. Roland DeWolf, the latest man to take up the challenge.
I'm not against it. It might surprise you to learn that I'm not against it.
You surprised me.
600.
I think the dynamics of the table change with Roland sitting in the one seat. It feels like, I don't know, about 16, 18 hours when so much of the action, instigation action has concentrated on the other side of the table. I don't know what's going to go on here. There's that macaroni and cheese.
In about an hour.
Spaghetti and meatballs.
Argentine beer. Yeah. 2 limes and a straw.
And so Reuben's made this 600.
I needed some sort of
Again?
crappy fluff.
And both Laak and Roland have called with
Appreciate it.
very strong hands. The queens, the ace-jack of clubs, right?
I think so. This
Yeah, I guess Laak is maybe looking to induce a squeeze. You know, they are super deep, so popping up a lot with queens can create a tough situation, but this is going to be hard for Wolfe not to lose much money here, unless he gets a
So
nice turn or river.
perfect situation. And when this money goes in now, just called. I mean, Roland, does he have trouble? Well, he's not folding, but I mean, it's such a strong hand. Do you like a raise here against 2 people? Overall.
Well, at this point, no. I mean, the stacks are super deep, and it's just going to be hard for him to ever really get action when he's ahead. Because if he makes a big check raise to 5,000, you know, even hands like strong as King Jack can get away from it. So I like the way he's played it.
So he may actually lead some turns into Reuben,
I've just woken up.
depending on trying to not give him a free card? Is that?
Yeah, if one peels off here that's safe, it's possible we see him lead into both opponents.
And Laak can also lead into both opponents. So this is. Oh, bingo! Wow, Laak will be a little sick here.
Great card, but I do think Laak's going to have a good shot at sniffing this one out and getting away from his hand without putting in too much more. Or any.
4,000.
4,000.
Question asked of Reuben. I was going to represent that ace, he's thinking.
It's hard to put Roland, you know, on Queen 10, or, you know, considering Laak has 2 of the queens.
Yes, but that's 1,600 pound bet he called on the flop. What could include an ace?
Yeah, it's not much, but it could be him slow playing something as well. He could have deuces or nines.
I had you on a certain hand. I don't know what you have.
You should probably go with that hand.
What do you think? What do you think he's talking about? You think he's saying Laak can kind of figure this out? As he raise it, and I was going to say, and yet, when you so underrepresent your hand, you're more likely to get yourself in trouble with it. Or
is that ever a chance?
I tend to play him a little more straightforward and probably just
repop
pre-flop if I'm Laak. It looks to me like Laak has decided to raise. Yeah. And I think this is a bit of a showdown play. I think his intent is to stop him right now from whatever he's doing, and then if Roland calls and checks the turn, Laak will just check.
Laak's out of position here.
It's the whole thing, right?
It's Roland who's in position.
Okay,
so I mean, it's weird, right?
Wow.
Super weird,
so just
right?
Check raise.
I know I'm not winning. How much more?
5,700.
And Roland shoved and shipped, and you just say you tend to play your hands more straightforward, la la la. Part of it is, it's like you try and confuse everybody else. You're confusing yourself, right? Is that what happened to Phil Laak here? I mean,
I think a lot of what he did was he didn't have any clue where he was at in the hand, and just decided that he would just make him have a hand. I mean, if he gets check raise on the turn, he better have at least ace jack. And that's possible. That's what happened.
Yeah.
4 times?
You want to run it 4 times, he says. How about 48?
Pop the queen ball once.
20K reload. 20K.
And,
give him 4 times if he wants it. What am I to say?
4 times.
Whatever he wants.
4 times.
Already 4 times.
Yeah.
I don't even understand.
I'll have to say I don't understand this play with the queens.
Burn and turn 4 times.
If he thinks Roland's bluffing, why not just
I
call
want
him
him to get at
down?
least 2.
There's not really any scare cards.
That's me.
1, 2, Roland. Burn and turn.
There's
Burn and turn. Burn and turn.
Burn a card. Turn it over.
Turn right below the 6. No.
Deal this 4 times.
Turn one under
Nobody
the 6.
knows what 4 times is.
Okay, burn and turn. Do it again.
Again. Under the 7. Under the 7. It's so sick how he never gets.
1 more time.
1 time for that.
Below the 4.
I felted him.
Welcome, Roland.
That's so bad for the game. How bad is that for the game?
Yum, yum.
Now,
I think that looks like
two things here, Dustin. First of all, I mean, Laak has played really good and really aggressive for like 18, 19 hours while staying within like, 10, 12,000 pounds of even. This hand, he all of a sudden, it's just one blip, really, right?
Yeah, well, it seems to me, I'm really trying to wrap my head around this. And it seems to me like he just really puts him on a 10-8 or queen 10, but he has 2 queens himself.
Someone was saying that Phil Laak was a little bit worried about the eviction coming up, and Neil Channing said he's been pumping Phil's ear that he's got to start giving more action, or else he'll get evicted. Nah, I can't believe Phil took that seriously. But that right there, that hand. You're not voting him off.
I got a 300.
Is there this power sort of thing going on between Ellis and Tony with the massage girls? And I don't know, I kind of think the next play is for one of them to offer a certain amount of money to get both massage girls at once, you know, away from the other guy.
Yeah.
It's like a bidding war.
It's possible, although I don't think anybody wants Tony to start opening up his game. I think they like the fact that the masseuse is there.
Yeah, but yeah.
And Tony seems to as well.
He's passive, right? He's like a fish here, right? He's like a little baby.
Yeah. This is a Tony G we don't see too often.
Check. Check. 1,000.
And then he's actually, oh, he won that big pot. What did he stacked off against? Oh, it was Roberto, right? That's got him even in the head.
Pass.
I like Tony G's bet here. He's got a backdoor flush, an overcard, and a gut shot to the nuts.
Check. Check.
He's going to have trouble pushing Viffer off of this hand.
Viffer was on the check raising, I'm guessing, mission on the turn.
3,000 and a call.
Super. King 8.
Just snap call for $3 grand from Tony G.
Wow. I mean,
Did you hear Roland? Okay.
I think if he has ace jack, he gets it up there pre-flop somehow. So really the only hand he could have is maybe queen jack.
Roland knows exactly what Tony G called him with. He just, I swear. Wheels are off.
I want it now.
He didn't even have to show. That was the Tony G snap call with the aces. Didn't even look how much it was. Didn't count the pot. Didn't even think.
Yeah. That's like a tilt call.
14?
Yeah, because even 8-9 made a pair. I just don't.
I said 14. He said 3, I said 14.
It's kind of a multi-way pot. He had to be calling the flop with something, and then he bet.
It was $3 grand.
We have a history.
He could beat exactly queen jack.
That's Mr. Reuben. And he's going to make you history. Get him, Reuben.
Yeah, that call.
Could have saved Laak.
Yeah, could have saved Laak from fighting back. Now he's probably just going to set line this one.
What that's worth. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. Wow, is he pulling that out of 1988?
Oh, man.
Hello.
Check.
And this is going to be kind of fun to watch, isn't it? This is Wolfe with a chance to get stacked off. He's checked this flop. How weird is that?
He's just going for pot control mode right now.
3,000.
He's got a big pot, he's got multi-way, and he doesn't know what he's going to do if he's going to get check raised. He feels like it's going to be sets and flush draws. He's going to be a really sick spot, so he's just trying to slow it down, take one street of betting away.
Sort of a bold play, and now what? Wow.
10,000.
Raise to 10,000.
Laak got him anyway. He's decided to stack off here, basically, right? Because you got to stock off against Laak. Not Reuben, but Laak.
Yeah, I think Laak is going to throw him for a little bit of loop here, and Roland's going to get sick to his stomach when all the chips go in the middle.
If Reuben gets involved, and they all get involved, there'll be a pretty big side pop between the Wolfe and Reuben.
Just out of curiosity.
About 15.
I have to think Reuben can pretty safely get away from it at this point.
We lost one.
Not going to lose the second.
I had 70 after that. And, then,
And just the fact that Wolfe went for the pot control on the flop, then why the turn?
Yeah, that's totally baffling to me. Maybe he wanted to wait to build up more equity against flush draws, who now would only have one card to draw to.
So he's decided that Laak has some kind of combo draw hand here, that's the only thing he can call with. Not thinking that Laak can have.
Yeah. It's a sick. It's a.
I mean, is it?
Holdem.
How much is it about?
About 15,000.
Huh?
yeah,
Obviously, there would be a very traditional way to play this hand where he bets big on the flop, gets sort of check raised, and bam, bam.
Yeah, I can't necessarily make a whole lot of sense out of Roland's play. It could have had something to do with the read at the table that went wrong. Maybe he just read Phil as being checked out of the hand and knew he was ahead of
Ellis, yeah.
knew he was ahead of Ellis and decided to pop it up there. But now I think he's got to fold.
What do you have?
I think this is way too loose of a call here. I don't think,
The 9,000 to win the 36.
I really do at 4-1. I just think he's I think he's drawn to 2 outs at best every single time.
Two times.
I don't care.
Or 4, whatever you want. 2 or 4.
Phil's just not going to make that play out of nowhere without a set or like 5-8 or some. You know, best case scenario has some type of
one
like.
time.
And that was the other weird thing about the turn raise is that he did it without really counting. He didn't even know how much Phil Laak had. It was very important.
Exactly.
As far as
he created a little bit of a mess for himself here.
Because if you oh, so close. And switcheroo, the Wolfe, who was ahead about 20 grand, is now stuck, and Laak has won a bunch of money in that pot, has gone from mega stuck to not only even, but more importantly, I think in his mind, he's got deep stacked. He's been trying all night to get more than 20,000 pounds on the table. Neil Channing leading the way in the big game 4. He's closing in on the 30K mark. Reuben has taken a few knocks, but still in profit, as is Viffer, who has been up and down this leaderboard. Williamson the third back at the table for a second session, looking good. Only Laak and the Wolfe right now in the red. Coming in next will be Luke Schwartz. He's either waiting for a bust out or an eviction. Or I think he's waiting for his new T-shirt from the laundry.
I know it's 6 out there.
I'm just joking, and he got the Jakeys.
That's already cool. Felt like you had it. I was gonna check right even just actually, I'd rather just call some more bets.
7.
I swear to God, Viffer must think they're playing the 7-3 game. He there's not a whole lot of explanations here. He started playing the 7-3 like the 7-deuce. Have you ever had those weird kind of hallucinations when you've been up for 40 hours? I mean, could he have convinced himself that?
Raise to 2-7.
It's possible that he is seeing things at this point. I had a feeling Robert Williamson, he seems to be, you know, he likes to play kind of tricky, trappy, pre-flop, and he likes to really avoid a lot of post-flop decisions, I've noticed. He likes to pop up and let the hand kind of play itself, so he makes rather large re-raises. It looks like Viffer's decided to put in the call.
Well, he's made. Well, it's hard to say it's not a mistake based on Robert Williamson's stack size and the kind of hands he re-raises with, right? I mean, it's hard to say that's not a mistake, right?
Oh no, it's not necessarily a mistake at all. It's just, you know, his personal strategy, and it's been working well for him this game.
He has gotten him for the full load.
See, that's even less.
He knew he was calling about 8 minutes ago, right? He knew. Yeah. This is just now. This is to stick the needle in.
Yeah.
No, it's a big bet. It is a really.
Well, he's just playing the hand way ahead, way behind. He knows that on a flop like that, the guy's either flop something crazy like pocket nines, or, you know, he's got the guy drawing to like a runner-runner. So Viffer makes a pot bet. You know, and it would be reasonable for him to just be kind of playing a hand like a 9, like he had a kind of a weak-made hand and was just trying to take it to showdown, and then woke up with chips on the river, and that's what is most likely going through Robert Williamson's head at this point. But it is Viffer, and he hasn't put in any action at any point in the hand, and he's got a pretty strong hand. I just can't imagine he's going to get rid of it.
Yeah, and I was probably sort of being a little glib. I mean, there's no way to be glib about a 6,000-pound bet. Robert Williamson, he's supposed to take his time here, and
if it was literally any other card, he would have snap called. He hates that 9 because it just looks like, it's like, why wouldn't Viffer bluff me earlier if I looked weak? So he's like, maybe he just had a 9 and then he woke up with 3 9s and now he's making a pot bet and trying to get paid off. But Williamson makes obviously a great call and scoops down the pot.
He's made the strong call, and
You might be the best.
And Viffer's like,
The people in the East who are better.
I just get net rolled. But look at that pot. I mean, RW3 has been sitting there doing his little thing, and he just won 10,000 pounds. Like against a hand that was so far behind him at all times.
I know it. I know it. It's funny. It looks like the biggest snap call in the world, but
Really, he got there in the end.
fortunes can turn quickly here.
Right, and there's like 280,000, I think almost 300,000 pounds on the table right now. 20 hours or so left to play. It's just so likely that everything is going to be decided at this table. You know what I mean? The biggest losers and the biggest winners.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. Can go either way.
I mean, we've now got, and we've never had this, never, at any point in the game, have we had 5 stacks of 40,000 pounds or more on the table.
Yeah, this is super deep stack poker, but the way these guys are playing, the pots get deep in a hurry, and it effectively plays a little shorter than it seems.
I know I'm calling. I just want to see what I have first. I'm calling.
Okay, cool.
I'm calling. I want to see what I have first. I think Robert's feeling pretty.
Callers.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good. And you know what? He's played pretty good.
I swear to
He
God,
plays his sort of soft play little strategy to
swear to God, I
perfection.
did not remember what the 2 cards were.
Yeah, I think he's playing a great strategy for this game.
A couple flush draws. And Reuben's about a pot-sized bet, I think.
2,500.
Oh my gosh, it's over pot.
Cool.
And Tony's in
Tony G's
horrible trouble.
Yeah.
Tony G has just gone favorite. How about that? He's gone from. I mean, that was kind of amazing, wasn't it? Wasn't that amazing how that happened?
It was.
I will fall down the stairs the other night.
Was it as
Check.
easy a fold
As
as
tender as I once was.
Laak made it? Kind
Well,
of could see what he was thinking.
There's so many nasty turn cards that can come. You got a couple players in the pot. Your hand's never going to be in great shape. So, I don't mind. He's out of position.
Right.
No, I need like the heavy players.
It is quite amazing how Tony's turned this into a winner.
They turn it right up really bright. Shining right on mine. No, it's just...
There's 12,000 pounds in this pot.
And he gets the showdown with his pair of 4s and wins. Wow.
Of course, last year was only a 36-hour game. Neil Channing played almost all of it. Played 32 and a half hours of it.
50, I think.
We're currently, I believe, 30 hours, just over 30 hours into this game. If Neil Channing, I am to understand, makes it to the next eviction, he will have sort of broken his own record as far as total hours played in the big game. I think Viffer is going to sort of join him across that line, and then it'll be a race to the finish.
Yeah, when I sat down at the table, he said he'd do a 100K last longer bet with anybody.
Yeah.
So apparently he plans on playing the whole 48.
He does, and it must be said, Neil Channing did not raise his hand to take up that challenge.
Tony G. That's his
Because
whole
Viffer said, well, look, if we both finish this game, we'll just move over to another adjacent table and keep playing heads up until one of us quits. So,
Or ends up in the hospital.
as far as the man up,
So this definitely has potential to get ugly here. A couple flush draws, diamond hits. Especially if it's a jack of diamonds with the Wolfe, so it's an action flop.
and it's Tony G who's bet out, right? And so
Even Viffer has a gut shot to the nuts. So probably a jack of diamonds is the ultimate action card, but a deuce of diamonds would make it pretty hairy as well.
yeah,
My bike, the light's going off. It's a good light.
I kind of wanted to see it. Yeah, see Viffer call that.
I can see.
Nice card for Phil.
Check.
3,000.
Why don't you come on over, Tony G?
So,
Well, Laak's going nowhere ever now.
right, but between calling and raising,
This is not
you
good.
don't mind this.
With Laak, I like calling the flop action the way you did, and a little unfortunate there. On the river, he's obviously, or excuse me, on the turn, he's obviously got to protect his hand, and now.
No, Tony G let out on the turn, and Phil just called.
Oh, okay.
How much is that? Not
Yeah, it might be a little passive, but he can kind of under-rep his hand too, and maybe get some additional action.
Well, it's all academic now, and
all goes down to the size.
yeah. Well, Reuben made it was a big 10,000 pound bet, and Tony just called really quickly.
No,
Yes, there was there more in it there for him? It was a big bet.
Well, with the paired board there, he just figured if he raised, he'd only get called by full houses, so he just called. Which is probably the play.
Yeah, well,
And Phil wisely stepped away, so everybody really read each other quite well and played that hand well.
What are you going to do? We both made a flush. It's an ace.
It's time to liven up the table by bringing on another player, but of course that means one player has to leave. So I'm going to have everyone please write down the name of the player that they would like to see leave. Now we do have a few people who are exempt. Obviously, having been here less than 3 hours, Roland and Robert and Guy will not be evicted. And of course the most aggressive player, as always, is Viffer, and he will not be eliminated. So you have a choice of 4 players.
Been like what?
Ellis,
30 hours
Tony,
in the same seat?
Neil, or Phil.
Right.
Please vote now. Put the cards face down on the glass. I can now reveal that the 2 players with the most votes are Phil Laak and Neil Channing. One of these players will be leaving the table. One will stay. I can tell you now that the next person leaving this table is...
All right, there you go.
Eddie.
I'm gonna get on the corporate keyboard and give it.
The next person leaving is Neil Channing. A big round of applause.
Wow. 30,000 pounds. 31 hours.
He made about 1,000 pounds an hour, and now he's going to go to get some rest.
But what he won't do is set the record. Viffer's in the seat.
So what happens? Do I have to?
I think Viffer's going to break the record this year.
I played for I think 31 hours, and yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel like I could definitely go right the way through. I don't think I played like brilliantly the whole sessions, but not every session. But I was just kind of getting into it. This particular table dynamic was quite good.
Neil Channing's hopes of playing a full session are dashed, but taking his place here at the table is Luke Full Flush Schwartz.
He just looks fired up to the gills. A big smile on his face. He's fresh. He's ready. He is like a daisy. Stuck 37,000 pounds, but that can be erased in a hurry. And the one thing we know about Luke, and you know it from playing with him, is that he will not waste any time to make marginal plays and will be all over this board. He's got the J-key going.
Yeah, he really has a phenomenal ability to kind of sniff out where he's at. And, you know, he's a special kind of player, and it'll be great to get a chance to watch him here.
And he's got that special thing where, as I say, he sniffs things out, he makes very marginal plays, and they're all, you know, real betting pattern and based. And it's such a, because he's an internet player, basically. There's no physical tells, really.
Yeah, and I feel like he's transitioned really well into the live game. I don't think he's given up any edge playing live.
They put me in a car and
Now,
took me to the ground store and made me buy new clothes. Before I could
It was, I think, Tony G who opened this. Phil called, and then DeWolf with the re-raise. He's been doing this quite a bit.
How much is it? What do you normally wear?
I was wearing a nice.
I'm not sure what he has, but it doesn't really have to be super strong. He's made the play so much, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, he's just saying, hey, I'll make you have a hand.
Well, it's King 10.
Roland, the first time
it is what it is.
They put me in the car and took me to the store. Made me buy new clothes.
And obviously being on the button. Well, it'll be funny to see what happens. I mean, you know, overall, the Wolf's best flop is probably everybody missing, right?
Yeah, exactly. That gives them the best hope, you know, if they get a deuce 8-4 flop or something, you know, he could probably fire a continuation bet and pick it up.
And that looks like the deuce 8-4, but it's not because Phil's got top pair.
He's got top pair, but it's still not a fun spot to be in for Phil.
Now, is anybody gonna? Can Roland represent this 4? No.
Please.
I think Laak should just try and pick up the pot here and just put a bet on. I mean, it's a situation where nobody has a hand, and so it's just going to be whoever wants it.
Check.
Oh, woman.
Now Phil can actually go for a value bet.
Just thinking back.
We know nobody has a 4. He's just hoping Wolfe has a hand like ace queen or ace king and make a crying call here on the
You
river.
win. Against me, you win.
Pass.
He waited so many times to get me. One more check.
One more check might have actually done it.
Interestingly enough, I bet you if Phil did not have a 6, he probably would have bet the turn, just trying to pick up the pot. But because he had a 6, I suppose he was maybe waiting it out and seeing if somebody might just trying to make some kind of hopeless bluff representing a 4 that he knew that they didn't have, and he'd just pick it off with a 6.
Well done.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Wow, and you think how cutthroat this game became. I mean, Laak and Channing were sort of locked in there as compadres, and then forced to not only vote but canvass for each other against each other.
Thanks, Mike, kids.
And Viffer, first time here in the big game, and what a statement he's made on his way towards playing the full 48, and not a bother on him.
Re-raise to 1,300.
Again, the Laak, the Wolfe. And Phil expects this. Has happened every time. Is it time for the...
Cool.
Picked up a hitchhiker.
Pass.
On your way to Philtown.
That'll change the dynamic there, Reuben calling. I think they know a lot of times, though, that's just going to be a pretty marginal hand. But the thing is
I'm not on the road.
He'll defend.
I'm writing about it in my journal, and then...
Yeah.
I have the same hand as I had last time.
Yeah, Ellis flying in often from the small blind. And he's got Roland in a bit of bother. Are there...
17.
1,700.
And Reuben's, I'm guessing, going to call the quick call. Are we looking at 3 streets, or are we looking at the Wolfe trying to shut it down and pick up a lucky card on the river?
Well,
1,700.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Roland just go ahead and kind of empty the clip here. Reuben's defined his hand as pretty marginal. I would have to have someone restraining my arm not to just fire 3 barrels here.
Empty the clip.
Well, you check back. I think it is a situation where he still beats a number of hands. Yeah. Queen Jack, Ace Jack. He's hoping his 5 is good.
Oh, he flopped it.
I would have a hard time. I just never feel like my 5's going to hold up even if it has it, so I just go for the full barrel.
Reuben, one-time leader at this table, back to his winning ways at the expense of Roland the Wolfe in the big game 4. Welcome back to the big game 4. Joining me in the commentary box now, Neil Channing, a man who survived for nearly 30 hours around this table before the vote got the better of him. And the 200-pound straddle is on. The 100-pound straddle is on. The 200-pound straddle is on. And the 700-pound raise with the 8-9 suited is on. How much fun is this?
Pass.
Can I explain?
Phil, what did you do?
You could lock these guys up,
700 to call.
and they wouldn't even know
Can I
it.
explain?
Look at that
It's just
gambling
like
face that
everybody
Ellis
handing
Reuben's got.
$25,
Little does he
but
know he's
instead of taking
dominating
the
Laak
time
right now.
for everybody to do it, one person's anteing for everybody.
Call.
Viffer breathes, which is to say he calls, and we're 3 ways here.
No, it's
2,500 quid.
action's normal. It's just the buttons anteing for everybody.
1, 2, 3. Okay, let's concentrate. Yeah, the action's not in.
Just try it for 1 round and you'll see how.
So easy.
Can I agree to a 1 round?
I don't mind whatever we
I
do.
like that. I want to be the straddler.
How can we not know?
Check.
Happy to go all in.
Second pair for Viffer, and
Everyone's all in.
Viffer, from your button, we'll try it for a round.
people think Phil Laak is so tight, and here he is. The C-bet, absolutely nothing.
I got you started.
Call. 25 change.
That's the easiest way to explain it is everybody's anteing $25.
Question is, Viffer's out the way. What's he going to do on the turn? Can he push Reuben off this? It's not much of a kicker.
So it would be $200 put in by the button.
Well,
Check.
not now. I would think.
No.
And that looks
It's
to
just
end
like a
this pot.
tournament that has an ante. It doesn't affect anything. The money just sits in the middle of the pot.
2,000-pound bet, 3 aces.
Do you
Oh
understand?
no.
Phil's the pot. Someone can straddle as well if they want to work, can't they? Stop
Do you understand? It's just like a tournament.
Well, this might be a good thought, but not wise timing. Laak, the check raise,
Viffer, just do it.
stone cold
But I'm
nothing.
trying to explain it to him in a way that he'll...
It's 200 dead.
There's 20,000 pounds in this pot.
Right, it's just safe
Phil
time.
Laak drawing dead. Can he push
take
Reuben
one
off
back.
on the river? I don't think so.
Check.
Okay.
Well, he's backed
Check,
off
okay.
here.
9
And
high, I think. 8 high. 9
what
high.
could you have done with 10,000 pounds better than Phil Laak right there? That's poker.
Can I give a counter offer?
Reuben doesn't even know how good he
I
was.
promise you this is the best.
You'll actually probably like my offer better.
I played this in. We played in New York, right?
Okay, it's an objection, so it's going to stay the same, guys, okay?
Got one guy who wants to get back in this game sitting right next to me.
Straddle for 200 will go.
Omaha player, so
No, it's been objected.
Real Channing.
straddle. I put on $200 on every hand.
But that raises the stakes of the game too big. So now when it's 100,
Phil
you
is
can still
not
come in for
feeling
400.
good.
But if you got a
Raised
$200, you
300
come in for
total.
600 or 800.
knows exactly what he's talking about. Even after 48 hours.
Raise action,
It creates a lot of.
I never doubted
Pass.
his abilities.
Pass.
Neil, you played fantastic for 30 hours, and you're getting back in the game.
I don't
and the
know.
game, it
I'm not
goes
sure.
on.
Actually, I'm not sure whether I played fantastic. I don't believe that everyone that came in the commentary box watched every single one of my hands and said, oh, he's playing fantastic. I guess that quite a lot of the time you were sitting next to various people who were saying, what the hell is he doing here? He's limping here. Oh, he's check folded this one.
No, sorry.
Oh,
I was the one saying, what the hell is he doing here? They
Oh, okay.
answered
Oh,
the
yeah.
various guys.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're supposed to be the dumb guy, aren't you? And I'm supposed to be the genius. I don't know. I don't think I was a total genius in the whole thing, but I felt like I was actually playing in the previous kind of 2 hours to getting evicted. I was starting to feel like I was in my stride, and I was enjoying the game. I like my position. You know, I had Viffer 2 to my right, Tony G 1 on my right. That seemed quite good to me.
Well, now Luke Schwartz has got that same position, and this game has just sort of taken a little, I don't know, there's been a little notch upward thing going on
Yeah,
since
I
Roland's
hope,
got in the game.
I hope Luke realizes what a good seat he's got. Luke, to me, yeah, obviously Luke is an excellent player. I respect Luke very much. But he is he's a heads-up specialist online, and he is an online player. He has played some 6-max in his time, and the game is generally a lot more pre-flop, and I think that this is an ideal opportunity to play flops. I think Ellis Reuben is weak post-flop. I think he's strong pre-flop. Although he's an amateur player, I think his main strengths are that he is fearless, and pre-flop he can put a lot of pressure on you. But after the flop, he does make mistakes, and I would have thought that a player who's seen as many hands as Luke Schwartz has seen will want to play Ellis Reuben and players like Tony G and Dave Peat, Viffer, in position post-flop. I think that will give him the best advantage. Not in this pot, obviously.
Yeah, well, okay. Right now, Ellis checked to him on the turn after Laak led the flop, and
Oh, sorry.
you know, Laak's going to win this one unless Ellis musters up a bluff, and he's.
Yeah, Ellis is actually, he tends to play his hands fairly honestly post-flop, whereas pre-flop, I think he can make a lot more moves.
Okay, guys, there's no 200 dead button. Sorry.
Do you have any choice words for any of these players out here?
No. Yeah, the gentleman.
Roland, look at Roland. I love Roland. He's always trying to stir up trouble. He's such a school child. It's so funny. Hey, look, he puts this petulant act on, and he sort of does things with his bottom lip.
Pass.
If somebody's played a hand wrong, made a bad call, made a bad raise, Roland is first in as the pot's getting shuffled over with a choice line and a little rib in.
Well, only because they voted me off, Jesse, mate. I would have been there giving the needle if I could at all possible. But Roland is an excellent substitute on that front. I think he really is king of the rub down. And you can see his Vic training there over the years. I know we're playing this cash game in the glamorous, sumptuous Les Ambassadors Casino, but Roland is truly a Vic boy when he comes in with some of those little needles after the pot, and I'm very proud of him in that way. I believe, though, that Tony G's ballroom dancing lesson gets ever nearer, and I don't know, after the travesty of me being voted off, it seems that I might get to go back and take that seat.
He is leaving, and, you know, there's something amazing here. I think he's taking the 32,000 profit with him, which currently makes him the holder of the big game, big winner title.
I think everyone's playing pretty good. I mean, I think everyone's mixing it up and having a bit of fun. I didn't really know that anyone was any sort of special or I was worried about. I'm just kind of just pushing chips around with everybody and just hoping for the best, you know, with my limited abilities.
The big story of the day is Tony G. He's turned this game on its head. Nearly 20K down at one stage. He's now sits with a 32K profit in front of him. Ellis Reuben has also suffered his share of highs and lows at this table, up to 40K at one stage, down to a mere 175 pounds, and now heading back up the leaderboard, 12K to the good.
After the fall of Channing, only one man has survived. Viffer, in from the start, is still here. His aggressive play has kept him clear of every eviction, but everything around him's changed as the game enters the home straight.
Stamina needed to make the home straight. Laak, Viffer, Schwartz, and Williamson III all still battling to be the top man at this table. Plenty waiting in the wings for their chance in the Party Poker Big Game 4.